You've seen it 1,000 times. The hero gets caught in a blizzard. The wind howls, the ice crystals form on their eyelashes instantly, and they collapse into a snowbank. It is dramatic, it is loud, and it is completely wrong. That is not how the cold kills you during a grid-down scenario. Real hypothermia doesn't happen with a cinematic orchestral swell. It happens in your living room, while you are wearing 3 sweaters, sitting on your own couch. It happens because you believed the lie that as long as you are inside 4 walls, you are safe. The reality is much quieter and much uglier. The reality is finding your father confused and stumbling in the hallway because his body temperature dropped 3 degrees over 6 hours, and you didn't notice, because you were too busy worrying about the food in the freezer. In a long-term winter blackout, your house is not a shelter. It is a stone box that wants to equalize its temperature with the outside world. If you treat this like a movie, you die. If you treat it like a tactical problem, you survive. Let's get to work. Let's set the scene. It is 1800 hours, February. The temperature outside is 10 degrees Fahrenheit and dropping. The wind chill is pushing -20. You are inside. The furnace is humming. The TV is on. Then, silence. The hum stops. The lights die. At first, it feels like an adventure. You grab the flashlights. The kids think it's fun. You crack a few jokes about romantic candlelight. But look at the thermostat. It reads 72 degrees. That is the high water mark. From this second forward, that number only goes down. You have no generator. You have no wood stove. You are relying on the grid, and the grid has just left the building. You check your phone. No signal. The towers are overwhelmed or out of power. You look out the window. The entire neighborhood is black. This isn't a blown transformer down the street. This is regional. The silence in the house is heavy. You can hear the wind rattling the window panes, a sound you never noticed when the HVAC was running. That sound is the enemy recon team probing your perimeter. The heat is already bleeding out through the glass, through the cracks under the door, through the uninsulated attic hatch. You are not in a house anymore. You are in a dying battery. Most people spend the first 4 hours of a blackout in denial. They wait. They open the fridge to check the milk, letting precious cold air out and warm air in, ruining their food supply. But the bigger mistake is thermal. They wander the whole house. They leave doors open. They treat the home as one single unit. They put on a hoodie and think that is enough. They assume the power will be back by morning. This is the normalcy bias kicking in. Your brain refuses to accept that the environment has become hostile. You sit in the living room, the largest room in the house, with high ceilings and big windows. You are trying to heat 3,000 cubic feet of air with nothing but body heat. It is basic physics, and you are losing the math. By 0200 hours, you wake up shivering. The house is now 55 degrees. That doesn't sound deadly. 55 is just a brisk fall day, right? Wrong. 55 degrees inside, when you are sedentary and sleeping, is enough to start the slow slide into mild hypothermia if your calorie intake is low and your insulation is poor. You are bleeding energy, and you don't even know the fight has started. Right now, you are guessing. You are guessing how fast your house loses heat. You are guessing how many calories you have to keep your metabolism burning to generate body warmth. You think you have 2 weeks of food? The math usually says you have 4 days. In a freeze, calories are heat. If you run out of fuel for your body, No amount of blankets will save you. Stop guessing. I built a tool to do the math for you. Go to protocolsurvival.com. We have a survival score calculator. It is free. You plug in your family size, your region, and your supplies. It tells you exactly how long you last before you become a casualty. Do not wait for the lights to go out to find out you are short on supplies. Go to protocolsurvival.com and get your score. Knowledge is the only insulation that matters right now. I can hear some of you screaming at your screens right now. Sergeant Miller, I pay my taxes. The National Guard will be rolling down my street with blankets and hot coffee in 6 hours. Or I'll just drive to a hotel in the next county. Let's steelman that argument. In a localised outage, yes, you evacuate. But we are talking about a cascade failure, a polar vortex event that hits 10 states at once. The roads? They are sheets of black ice because the ploughs run on diesel and the pumps barely work. The cell towers? Dead. The hotels? Full or dark. And the National Guard? They are deployed, sure, but they are at the hospitals trying to keep the ventilators running. They are at the water treatment plants trying to stop the pipes from bursting. They are not coming to your cul-de-sac to check if you put a sweater on. You are a soft target in a hard environment. The infrastructure is fragile. When the grid breaks hard, logistics shatter. There is no cavalry. There is just you, your family, and the falling temperature. If your plan is wait for help, your plan is a suicide pact. You need to accept that for the next 72 to 96 hours, you are the governor, the general, and the FEMA director of your own property. Day 1 breaks. The sun is up, but it offers zero heat. It's a grey, flat light. Inside, your breath is visible. The thermostat is dead, but the analog thermometer you bought says 42 degrees. Your spouse is complaining about a headache. Your 6-year-old is crying because their hands hurt. This is where the guilt hits you. It's a physical punch to the gut. You look at your kid, wrapped in a throw blanket that isn't doing the job, and you realise you failed to prepare. You didn't buy the 0-degree sleeping bags because they were too expensive for a camping trip you never take. Now, that money means nothing. You try to boil water for tea, but your electric stove is a brick. You realise you have no way to make hot liquid. Hot liquid is morale. Hot liquid is internal core temperature. Without it, you are fighting a losing battle. You start looking at the furniture differently. That bookshelf isn't decor anymore. It's potential BTU. But you don't have a fireplace. You feel the walls of the house. They are ice cold to the touch. The heat envelope has collapsed. Let's talk about myth number 3. My house will stay warm for days. This is a holdover from when houses were built with stone and thick timber. Modern construction is garbage. It is stick-built frame, drywall, and fiberglass bats that settle over time. It relies on active heating to force air into the space. Once that active pressure stops, the house acts like a chimney. Heat rises. It goes right out your attic vents. Cold air gets sucked in through your weep holes and basement rim joists. In a severe freeze, a modern home can lose 1 to 2 degrees per hour. Do the math. If you start at 70 and you lose 2 degrees an hour, in 24 hours you are at outdoor ambient temperature or close to it. You do not have days, you have hours to establish a microclimate. People die because they try to heat the whole house. They wander from the kitchen to the bedroom. They leave doors open. You need to shrink your world. If you are trying to live in 2,000 square feet without power, you are already dead. You need to live in 200 square feet. Here is the SOP. You pick one room. preferably interior, no big windows. South-facing if you have solar gain, but usually an interior hallway or a walk-in closet is best. This is your FOB, your forward operating base. You seal it off. I don't mean close the door, I mean tape plastic sheeting over the door frame. Use duct tape and shower curtains if you have to. You want to create a vapor barrier and an air trap. Inside that room, you set up a tent. Yes, a camping tent inside your house. If you don't have a tent, build a fort with mattresses and blankets. Why? Because your body is a 98-degree radiator. If you are in a large room, that heat dissipates into the ceiling. If you are in a small tent, that heat gets trapped. It can be 40 degrees in the house and 60 degrees inside that tent just from body heat. Pile everyone in, the dog, the kids, the spouse. Civility is over, survival is physics. You share warmth. Floor insulation is critical. The floor will suck the heat out of you faster than the air. Mattresses on the floor, yoga mats, rugs. Layer the ground before you layer your body. It is now day 2. The house is 35 degrees. You have your tent set up. You are miserable, but you are alive. Then you hear shouting from next door. It's your neighbor Dave. Dave is a tough guy. He has a big truck. He thinks he knows what he's doing. You go outside to check. The air hits your lungs like broken glass. You see Dave's garage door is cracked open about 6 inches. He waves at you. "Got the propane heater running!" he yells. "Toasty in there!" He's using a construction-grade torpedo heater, or maybe his gas grill, inside the garage to warm up the pipes. He thinks because the door is cracked, he's safe. This is the deadliest myth of all. Myth number 4. Any fire is good fire. Carbon monoxide, CO, is heavier than air in some mixes, lighter in others, but it fills a space aggressively. It binds to your hemoglobin 200 times stronger than oxygen. You don't choke. You don't cough. You just get sleepy. Dave isn't keeping his family warm. He is putting them into a permanent sleep. You scream at him to shut it down, but he waves you off. He's already confusing aggression with competence. Let's analyze what is happening to Dave's physiology. It's not instant. It's insidious. First, it's a dull headache. Dave thinks it's just the stress. Then, it's nausea. He thinks it's the bad food they ate. Then comes the confusion. His brain is starving for oxygen, but he doesn't feel breathless. He feels tired. He sits down in his camping chair next to the heater. His face is flushed cherry red, a classic sign of CO poisoning that Hollywood usually skips. He looks healthy, but his cells are suffocating. His wife calls him from the doorway. He hears her, but the command to answer doesn't make it to his mouth. He just nods. She joins him because it's warmer in the garage. This is a mass casualty event in slow motion. In the Texas freeze of 2021, this killed huge numbers of people. Not the cold, the bad heat. If you do not have a battery-operated CO detector in your survival kit, you are wrong. Period. You are trusting your life to a colorless, odorless gas that kills you while you dream. Night falls on day 2. You haven't seen Dave in hours. The smoke from his garage has stopped. You have a choice. Do you stay in your warm tent, or do you do a welfare check? You zip up your coat, layers, not bulk, and head over. You pound on the door. Nothing. You push into the garage. The air smells acrid, like spent propane. Dave is in the chair. He's slumped. His wife is on the floor. They are alive, but barely. Groaning. You drag them out into the snow. The freezing air is actually the medicine they need right now. Oxygen. You wake them up. They are vomiting. They are confused. They fight you. Hypoxia makes people combative. You save them, but now you have a new problem. They can't go back in that house. It's saturated. Now you have 2 more bodies to fit in your tent. Your resources just got cut in half. This is the reality of community in a disaster. You are not just prepping for yourself, you are prepping for the idiot next door who didn't. Let's talk about the body itself. Hollywood shows people freezing because they don't have a giant bearskin coat. Reality? You freeze because you sweat. Moisture is the conductor of death. Water conducts heat away from the body 25 times faster than air. If you shovel snow in a big heavy coat, you sweat. That sweat soaks your base layer. Then you stop moving. That water turns to ice against your skin. You have just put on a refrigeration suit. The algorithm is wicking, warming, weather. Base layer must be synthetic or wool. No cotton. Cotton kills. It holds moisture. Mid-layer is fleece or wool for loft, trapping dead air. Outer layer is a wind shell. But here is the secret. You must regulate. If you start to sweat, you strip a layer immediately. Be bold, start cold. When you start working, take the jacket off. Don't wait until you are wet. Inside the house, this applies too. Change your socks twice a day. Even foot sweat will chill you. If your feet are cold, your brain tells your body to shut down peripheral circulation. Warm feet, warm mind. Day 3. The inside temperature is 28 degrees. Water in the toilet bowl has frozen solid. You are managing the refugees, Dave and his wife, and your own family. But look at your elderly mother. She's sitting in the corner of the tent. She's quiet. She's stopped complaining. You think, good, she's finally resting. Wrong. This is the danger zone. Myth number 2. You know you're freezing because you shiver. Reality. You stop shivering when you hit moderate hypothermia. Your body runs out of glucose. It gives up on generating heat and focuses on keeping the heart beating. Watch for the umbles, stumbles, mumbles, fumbles, grumbles. Is she slurring her words? Is she fumbling with her zipper? Is she irrationally angry or totally apathetic? You ask her a simple math question. Mom, what's 10 minus 3? She stares at you. She can't answer. Her core temp is dropping below 95. If you let her sleep now, she doesn't wake up. Hollywood shows the hero slapping the victim to keep them awake. That's useless. You need calories and external heat. You have a hypothermic casualty. SOP time. Do not rub their arms or legs. Hollywood loves to show people rubbing frostbitten limbs. All you are doing is pushing cold, acidic blood from the extremities back to the heart, which can cause cardiac arrest. It's called the afterdrop. You need to warm the core first. Head, neck, chest, groin. Strip the wet clothes off. This is awkward and it is necessary. If you have nothing else, use body-to-body contact, skin to skin. Get in the sleeping bag with them. You are the heater. If you have chemical hand warmers, do not put them directly on the skin. You will burn them. Put them in socks and place them in the armpits and groin. But the most important thing is fuel. You need to feed the furnace. Warm, sugary water. Jello water. If they can swallow, get sugar into them. The body cannot produce heat without fuel. A shivering person burns 500 calories an hour. If they haven't eaten in a day, the fire is out. Feed them to save them. It's not just the cold, it's the dark. It's the smell of unwashed bodies. It's the lack of information. By day 3, the psychological strain breaks people. Your spouse is snapping at the kids. The kids are lethargic. You feel a crushing weight of hopelessness. This is psychogenic death waiting in the wings. People give up. They stop maintaining their layers. They stop drinking water because they don't want to leave the warmth to pee. Dehydration thickens the blood, making frostbite more likely. It's a death spiral. You have to be the sergeant. You have to enforce a schedule. Drink water now. Change socks now. Eat this bar now. You need routine. Routine kills fear. The Hollywood hero makes a big speech. The real survivor makes a checklist. You need to keep their minds engaged. Play games, tell stories, keep the brain working, because a bored, cold brain shuts down. When the grid is down, your cloud is gone. All those survival PDFs you saved to your Google Drive? Inaccessible. The YouTube videos you meant to watch? Buffering forever. You are blind. You need a system that works when the lights are out. This is why I built the offline mode into Protocol Survival. It downloads the entire medical library, the shelter engineering schematics, and the caloric calculators directly to your phone's local storage. It works in airplane mode. It works when the towers are down. It is your digital field manual. Do not wait until you are staring at a blank screen to realise you don't know the ratio for rehydration salts. Go to protocolsurvival.com, get the app, and sync it now while you have Wi-Fi. Secure your data, secure your survival. Let's talk about water. In a freeze, your pipes are time bombs. If you didn't drain them at the start, they have burst by now. But even if you did, your stockpile is freezing. A block of ice is not water. You cannot drink ice. It lowers your core temp and costs calories to melt. You need to melt it. Do you have a safe way to do that? If you are using your camping stove, remember, fuel is finite. Do not waste fuel boiling water to a rolling boil if you have a filter. Melt it, warm it, filter it. Also, hydration. You don't feel thirsty in the cold. It's a lie your body tells you. But every time you exhale and see that steam, that is moisture leaving your body. You are dehydrating with every breath. If your urine is dark, you are wrong. Drink. And here is a brutal truth. Do not eat snow unless you have absolutely no choice. Eating snow causes massive caloric loss. Melt it first. If you can't melt it, you are in trouble. Day 4. The storm breaks. The sun comes out and it's actually bright. But the temperature is still 0. You have survived the worst of the darkness. But you are exhausted. Your supplies are low. The house is a wreck. The smell is terrible. This is the moment of maximum danger for accidents. You get sloppy. You rush to turn things back on when the power flickers. Don't. If the grid surges back on, it can blow your electronics, or start a fire in the walls if the wiring was damaged. And the pipes? As they thaw, that's when the flood starts. The ice was holding the water back. Now it flows. You hear the rushing water in the walls. You have to be ready to shut the main valve instantly. Survival doesn't end when the sun comes out. It ends when stability is restored. You check your family. They are skinny, dirty, and traumatized. But they are warm. You look at the thermometer in the tent. 60 degrees. Outside the tent, 25. That little nylon wall saved your life. We rely on the grid to be our mother, to keep us warm, fed, and safe. But the grid is a machine, and machines break. When the copper wires go cold, the only thing keeping your family alive is you, the knowledge in your head, the preparations in your closet, the decisions you make when the panic sets in. Hollywood wants you to think survival is about being the toughest guy in the room. It's not. It's about being the smartest. It's about thermodynamics, physiology, and resource management. It's boring, unsexy science that keeps the blood pumping when the world freezes over. You don't need to be a hero. You need to be a radiator. You need to be the infrastructure. The cold is patient. It will wait for you to make a mistake. Don't give it one. Stay warm. Stay dangerous. I want to circle back to a specific tactical point we touched on. Windows. In a blackout, your windows are giant holes in your armour. Glass has an R value of basically 0. It transfers heat instantly. If you have curtains, close them. But that is not enough. You need dead airspace. If you have bubble wrap, wet the glass and stick the bubble wrap to it. It sounds stupid. It looks ugly. It works. The bubbles create air gaps. Then, tape a blanket over the frame. You are building layers. The goal is to stop the convective loop where warm air hits the cold glass, cools down, and drops to the floor, creating a draft. That draft is what makes you feel cold, even if the air temp is okay. Stop the air movement, stop the heat loss. If you have to choose between a view and warmth, choose warmth. Board them up with cardboard if you have to. Cardboard is actually decent insulation because of the corrugation. Use what you have. Scavenge your recycling bin. Your house is a resource. Cannibalise it. We skipped over the ugly part. Sanitation. If the water lines are frozen or the lift stations are down, your toilet doesn't flush. If you keep using it, you are building a biohazard in your house. And in a cold house, maybe the smell is suppressed, but the bacteria isn't. You need a bucket system. A 5-gallon bucket, a heavy-duty trash bag, and kitty litter or sawdust. You do your business in the bucket, cover it with the medium to dry it out and suppress the smell, seal the bag, store it outside. Do not let waste accumulate indoors. Dysentery killed more soldiers in the Civil War than bullets. In a grid-down scenario, hygiene is health. Hand sanitizer is gold because water is too precious to wash hands with constantly. Baby wipes are your shower. Keep yourself clean. Skin infections in the cold heal slowly or not at all. If you get a cut on your hand and your hands are dirty and cold, that cut becomes septic. Maintain your machine. People ask about pets. What do I do with the dog? The dog is a force multiplier. The dog is a heater. A large dog produces a lot of BTUs. Bring them in the tent. But remember, they burn calories too. They need water, they need food, and they need to go out. When they go out, they bring wetness back in. You have to dry the dog off before they get back in the sleeping bag. If you have a small dog or a cat, they are vulnerable just like an infant. They will freeze. Do not leave them in the main house if you are in the tent. Bring them in. But be warned, stress affects animals too. They might bite. They might panic. Keep them close. Keep them calm. They are also your alarm system. If someone is prowling around your house looking for a generator to steal, the dog knows first. Use them. Sleep is dangerous in the cold if not managed. When you sleep, your metabolism slows down. You produce less heat. If you go to sleep cold, you wake up colder, or you don't wake up. You must warm up before you sleep. Do 10 jumping jacks. Eat a candy bar. Drink hot water. Get the furnace stoked, meaning your body. And sleep in shifts. This is military SOP. Fire watch. One person stays awake for 2 hours while the others sleep. The watchstander checks the CO monitor. Checks the candle, if you are risking one. Checks the temperature. Checks the kids. If everyone sleeps at once, Everyone drifts into hypothermia at once. The watchstander is the safeguard. It sucks. You will be tired. But tired is better than dead. Rotate shifts. Keep the watch. When the power comes back, don't just flip the switch and cheer. Go to your breaker panel. Turn off the main. Why? Because the surge of the grid coming back up can be erratic. It can fry your appliances. Wait 30 minutes after you see the streetlights come on. Then turn on the main. Then turn on circuits one by one. Listen. Smell. Is there a sizzling sound? Is there a smell of ozone or burning plastic? You might have rodent damage from mice that came inside for warmth and chewed wires. You might have water damage in the walls affecting the electrical. Proceed with caution. Inspect your gas lines. If the pilot lights went out, make sure they aren't pumping gas into the house before you relight them. The recovery phase is where the adrenaline dumps and you make mistakes. Stay sharp until the house is green across the board. Think about the soundscape of a dead suburb. No cars, no HVAC hum, just the wind. It creates a psychological pressure. You feel isolated. You need to break that isolation without exposing yourself. If you have a battery radio, turn it on. Even static or a weather loop is a connection to the world. It reminds you that civilization still exists somewhere. If you have a walkie-talkie or a ham radio, listen. Do not transmit unless necessary. Save your batteries. But gathering intel is crucial. Is the power back on 2 towns over? Is there a warming shelter open at the high school? Information changes your strategy. If you know the power is out for another week, you might decide to evacuate. If you know it's back in 24 hours, you hunker down. Don't operate in a vacuum. One final myth to kill. The St. Bernard with the barrel of brandy. Alcohol. People drink to feel warm. It works, right? You feel a flush in your cheeks? That is the feeling of death. Alcohol is a vasodilator. It opens up the blood vessels near your skin. This brings warm blood from your core to the surface. Yes, you feel warm for 10 minutes, but you are dumping your core heat into the cold air. You are accelerating hypothermia. You are literally venting your engine heat to the outside. Plus, it impairs your judgment. In a survival situation, you need to be sober. You need to be sharp. Save the whiskey for when the power is back on and you are celebrating survival. Do not use it as a tool. It is a trap. Recap. 1. The grid fails. Expect it. 2. The house will get cold fast. Accept it. 3. Consolidate. Build the microclimate. Tent in the living room. 4. Manage the moisture. Sweat is death. 5. Fuel the body. Calories are heat. 6. Watch for the umbles. Hypothermia is sneaky. 7. Beware the silent killer. CO monitors are non-negotiable. 8. Be the leader. Panic kills more people than the cold. Your family is looking at you. If you look terrified, they will be terrified. If you look like you have a plan, they will work the plan. Fake it if you have to. But better yet, don't fake it. Prepare. Get the knowledge now so you don't have to improvise when the temperature drops. The cold is coming. Be ready.